So I've skipped a few numbers, but we're just going to say that these finishing steps 9 through 11 will begin at video 15 so that I don't confuse myself. Anyway, Pretty Penny Pre-Cuts with the Southeastern Quilt and Textile Museum, and we're beginning finishing the backing of Project 2, Sun and Sail. So welcome back today. Hopefully you are finished with the surface stitching of Project 2, all but the edging. And we're going to begin step 9 and then go through 9A and 9B, I believe, in this video, so that we'll know how to finish or place a backing on the project. This is the finished sample. This is the sample that I've been stitching on. And right now you'll notice that it's raw. So I've got the backing that shows my stitches, and I've got the front. The very first thing that I'm going to want you to do is to grab up your, or move to your ironing surface and steam fuse both the front and the back of this project. So if you've been following along, that meant that this is somehow damp, whether you've sprayed it or dunk it. You're ironing it until it's dry on the front. I'm going to ask you to turn it over and iron it until it's dry on the back. So that's your ironing step. I'm not going to do it for you, but you get an idea. Dampen this, iron till dry. And that sets the stitches. In regular sewing or quilting, we would say that that ironing step or that pressing step sets the seam. But in this case, it's setting stitches. Don't worry if you think it's smashing it too much. That is a non-issue for us. The humidity will grab back minutely back into here, and your work will fluff back up over time. So that is not a problem at all. So once you've done step 9, which is to steam fuse the front and the back, then we need to move on. Note for our finishing step, we've got 3 things. We've got your stitchery, we've got a piece of die cut fusible, and we've got a die cut background, or backing. Note that these were all different. So don't worry if you see in the filming or in the sharing that somebody's doesn't look exactly like yours. They were all different. The very first thing that I'm going to ask you to do, and again, probably you need to be on your ironing surface, is to put this wrong side up and remove the fusible, meaning the first piece, which happens to be the white piece, the white side. Remove your first waste paper from this. So again, roll it, make sure that the fusible is hanging onto the gridded side. I know it's hanging onto the gridded side because, as you can see, it's stuck to my finger. And I'm just going to move this solid white waste paper, and I'm just going to get rid of it. And then, to the best of your ability, and you may have to do it a few times, match this up as best you can. It may be a perfect match. It may be off slightly. And again, just the act of stitching on your project might have shrunk it up a little bit. Maybe it even stretched it out a little bit. That's a possible too. I haven't put it down hard and fast yet, so I have the ability to pick it kind of back up and then just try to match it again a little bit. I'm smoothing gently right now as I figure out how close am I to getting it where I want it to be. And you're going to need to manipulate it a little bit. Don't worry if you see some blue here, and don't panic if you see a little bit of fusible on the other side. This I'm going to try to make up for by just gently scooting that into place with my fingers. So this is what we would call, it's a little different than in quilting a block, but I am basically finger pressing. I'm just smoothing it down. I'm trying to match it up as best I can in the position that it's in. I'm going to say do not come back and cut away any of the blue. Now, if you've got excess fusible from this side, the white side, that you might want to trim it exactly even to the scalloped edge. So that's your step 9A. Remove the first waste paper, the solid white, and then step 9B says match it to the wrong side of your project. So we've got it matched, and I'll pick you back up in the next video with what we're doing starting with step 9C. See you then.